Hello and welcome back, and today I'm going to show you how you can make your garden much more wildlife friendly. Make sure you watch until the end of this video where I'll show you some of the ways that you can make your garden more wildlife friendly. But firstly, I'm going to give you a bit of a garden tour. So I apologise about the wind today, but today it's quite chilly today as well because we just had a cold front come in overnight, and I've accidentally lost my peppers owing to the frost in my greenhouse because I forgot to put a cloche over them last night, which is my fault really. But as I said, I'm going to start by showing you my garden and everything that's growing at the moment, and then I'll get on to how you can make your garden much more wildlife friendly. Here at the moment I've got a small bed down here which has got first early and main crop potatoes in it. They're just coming up through the hay. And I've also got a mini polytunnel here, which I've got seedlings in there starting off, and some of them will be ready to plant out very shortly. And then I've got my onions and my carrots, which are still growing quite strong. My carrots have just germinated, my second sowing, because my first sowing didn't grow at all, which is quite annoying. And then I've got my salad bed and my strawberry bed down there. And the strawberries are just coming into fruit at the moment, but they're nowhere near ready yet. Down this end of the garden, I've got my fruit here, my soft fruit, which is my raspberries and my currants. Sorry about the tree, it's very windy. And I've also got my currants, my bean structures and my peas. My peas are starting to grow up, but my beans have just gone out like a few days ago, I can't remember when. And then down here, I've got last year's kale flowering, which I'm going to save the seeds from. And then I've got my potatoes in containers down at the bottom. And now I'm going to be showing you some of the things that I've got in my garden that you can use in your garden to try and encourage wildlife in your garden. And the first thing I'm going to speak about is that you can do your own wildlife camps. So what you can do is you can get a notepad and pen, and in a summery day, maybe not as cold and windy as today, it's not very nice, and I apologise about the wind noise. So you'd go and sit out in your garden on a summery warm day with your notepad and pen, and you look out for all the different species and the number of how many of them are there. So what you'll do is you'll make a note of them and a tally, and you can do this every week or every year or even every month, and you can see every species and how they're doing in your garden. And then what you do then is when you put these measures in that I'm speaking about today, you can see how effective they are encouraging more wildlife into your garden. To leave a part of your garden to go quite wild so that you can let all the wildflowers grow, and that means the pollinators will be happy, and it also gives some other things some cover from predator, having some long grass and foliage. So here I've got my sort of wildflowery meadowy bit. I don't really know what I call it, but it's got all the wildflowers there, and I only cut it once, a few times a year, just to cut it down and let some other things come through. But other than that, I don't really cut it much anymore. Another thing is to grow loads of different flowers, and I say different because bees and pollinators like butterflies, they all like a variety of different nectars and pollens and things like that. So that's why I think you should grow a variety. So here I've got some lupins that have been flowering, and lupins are one of my favourite flowers, and I've also seen quite a lot of bees on them as well in the last few days when it was warmer. But I also grow loads of other flowers, different sizes, different colours, all in my beds, just to make sure that there's something for all of the different wildlife. Another thing is by giving them a hand in finding a home. So here I've got my solitary beehive, and solitary bees are one of the most popular bee species in the UK. But you can give them a helping hand by getting one of these. And the other one is butterflies and moths, which is why I've got this here, which is, it's just a butterfly home really. I don't really have much else to say about it. It's got some bark in there. I put this one up yesterday, and it's got some bark in there for them to cling on to and nest if they want to. So another tip is to be as organic as you can be. So don't use pesticides or herbicides, and do it all by hand and using natural methods, because then it keeps everything in the food chain happy, which means it'll be a good ecosystem in your garden. Thank you for watching through this video. I hope you learnt something or enjoyed it, and I do apologise about the wind noise in the audio. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you next time.